begin with the invocation from Councilmember McKellar, followed by the pledge. If you'll please stand.
Good morning. Would you pray with me? Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we come just now saying thank you for this day. Thank you, Father, for waking us up this morning and starting us on another day's journey, and we say thank you. Father, thank you for the citizens of this community. Thank you for the city of Tyler, and thank you for the opportunity to serve these great citizens. Father, we also say thank you for council. Thank you for our mayor. Thank you for our council members. Thank you for our city manager. Thank you for all of those that serve this great city of Tyler, Texas. And we say thank you for this opportunity. Father, I want to say that I appreciate the fact that you have wakened us this morning and started us on another day's journey. There are people who did not wake up, Father, but you saw fit to wake us up, and I say thank you. Thank you for the veterans. Thank you for our fire chief. Thank you for our police chief. And thank you for all the people who serve this great city, this great state, and this great country. And now, Father, as we begin our city council meeting this morning, pray that we would do the things that will be beneficial for not just one part of our city, but for the north, for the south, for the east, and the west. And that the things that we decide to do will be for the benefit of all mankind. And now, Father, we say thank you once again as we begin this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. And let my Father's children say amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to begin with the minutes from June the 12th, 2024. Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Curtis, second by McKellar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're going to come down for some awards. All right, we're going to start with Juan Menderos, crew leader, 35 years of service. Thank you. Next, we have Robert Bolton, police officer, 20 years of service. This way, please. And lastly, we have Noe Valderos, police sergeant, 20 years of service.
We're going to put you on that side.
Okay.
Not us.
One more. And before all these folks go, these folks represent
guys for being example to the young people of excellence and just a desire to serve the city. So thank you, and we appreciate it. All right, now down to zoning, Kyle, Z1.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
The first item we have today is our annual or biannual review of the Unified Development Code, the UDC. We review this twice a year, every 6 months, for any potential changes, amendments, or things that are needed to be addressed in the code. So the first item that we looked at this go around was the use table as it relates to miniature golf and driving ranges, and how those are classified in our commercial use table. And so they're currently allowed, or they're grouped together and allowed as a special use in our C2, our more intense commercial district, and only our planned commercial district. We were approached by a group that was looking to have a driving range in a property that's zoned PMXD, which is our planned mixed use district. As it currently has in the use table, that would not be permissible. However, a planned mixed district will also have commercial activities such as these types of amenities, these entertainment uses, and so it was reviewed at that time, or in this time, to make some changes to open that up to allow in a PMXD district. With it being the plan development, all the P's are plan developments, and those are all reviewed with a site plan or a narrative, and so those can have conditions on those that essentially, trying to protect the reasons you have a special use permit, where you can kind of stipulate protections, barriers, things like that you might need, like nets and things like that you might need with a driving range. And so it seemed reasonable to allow this or that use in all of our planned districts, so PCD and the planned mixed districts, and then also to separate the miniature golf from that, because it's a little bit less intense than the driving range. And sometimes maybe in a light commercial area, it might be appropriate to have a small scale miniature golf course or things like that. And so the change here is to also allow that in C1, or light commercial district, with a special use. And so that will allow a case-by-case review for potential issues that might come along with that, with noise or other protections for adjacent properties. The next item is in review, or regards to our off-street parking requirements and how they relate to our DBAC zoning district, our downtown business arts and culture district. This is a zoning district that is specific to our downtown core, or downtown planning area, which is Front Street to Gentry, and then Palace to Beckham. So it's that kind of our traditional central business district. And so currently that district, anything zoned DBAC, does not require off-street parking if it is a non-residential or commercial development. So business downtown does not require off-street parking. And that was something that was changed in the code back in 2008 with the adoption of the UDC. And so that has allowed some more flexibility to allow for redevelopment of our downtown area with commercial activity. There was still a requirement, and still is a requirement for a residential unit to have at least one parking space provided off street. And there's also some flexibility in there already that allows that required parking space to be off-site, to be at least within 1,000 feet of that unit. And so essentially the idea is that maybe somewhere in the downtown area that there could be parking provided. As we have seen some, more energy and redevelopment of residential uses in our downtown, something that's come up frequently in regards to these older sites and potentially new ones is the requirement for the off-street parking and how that may affect the ability to develop some of the properties, reuse some of the existing parking garages that might not conform to the minimum requirements. And then it could also have a hindrance on developing new housing within downtown and by extension affordable housing as well. And so the proposal here is to for the entire DBAC district to have no off-street parking requirement, whether it's residential or commercial, and to allow the private development, the market for them to decide what kind of parking they need for their tenants and for their businesses, which is currently the case for commercial activity. And in doing so, this would match some of the other cities within Texas. There's 15 other cities of various sizes that have already done away with off-street parking requirements within their central business district, which means the same thing as our DBAC district. And so we'd be following suit with that and also being able to compete for that development as well. The next item is in regards to alcohol sales. This is also specific to our DBAC, the downtown district. As you all know, the state law allows cities to adopt the 300-foot distance requirement. That a business selling alcohol must be from a church, or school, or hospital, protected uses. And the city has adopted that requirement back in 2012, citywide. And so that applies in the downtown areas, which have traditionally been have had a mixture of restaurants and churches and those other protected uses that you have typically seen in the downtown area. Over the past, or since the adoption of these requirements, hope they don't blow the horn here. We have had a couple. Well, the code also allows for a variance or an exception to be granted by the city council if the city council feels that the 300-foot distance requirement is not necessary. And the two examples that we've had in the downtown area have both been approved when they were for a restaurant. So we've had ETX Brewery that was approved for a variance. They are close to Bethel Church and also Caldwell. And then the most recent one was the wine bar across from Marvin Methodist. And so both of those have been approved, and there was some discussion on how we move forward from that, and if there's potentially the ability to allow that type of activity, like a restaurant, to be exempt from the distance requirements, because that's traditionally what you're going to have downtown. And with the comprehensive plan having a kind of a goal for making downtown an entertainment area, that would coincide with that. And so currently the city council can grant a variance to the distance requirement, but that does add some more time and effort and ambiguity to the process. And so in our review, we have found that we can kind of say for a restaurant or a business that sells alcohol with food, at least 51% food sales, that we can exempt those from the requirement. We have that ability. And so the proposal here is to do that, to exempt restaurants in the DBAC zoning district from the 300-foot distance requirement. This next item is, I'm just going to continue, and then any questions at the end. or you can just kind of stop me if you want. The next item is regards to food trucks. This is really an effort to streamline and clarify the current requirements, so it actually add some more flexibility as well. Currently, the code requires that mobile food trucks obtain a transient vendor permit for each location that they go to, and that permit is good for 6 months. That was put into place back, I believe, 2014 or 15, when we had made some changes to the code to expand our food truck program. That was kind of the first step, kind of some baby steps that we took. It's been a while since then, so we've reviewed it further. And so each permit that's required, again, that's one every 6 months for each location. Those permits are $150, and again, if you're going to plan to stay in one place for a year, that's $300, but that's 2 permits, and then that's every location. So we researched other cities, of course, and found that that's kind of a steep, thing to do. So other cities require one annual permit for operation for all locations, and so essentially it's a license or a permit to operate throughout the city in accordance with all the rules. And so that's something that that's what we want to do here, is just streamline that and make that annual permit for any location that would save on cost or in permitting steps that food trucks would have to go through. The last I heard is that there are 99 food trucks or full service food trucks in Smith County. I'm not sure how many of those are just operating in Tyler specifically, but 99 full service food trucks. And so this will again we'll coordinate with the health department to try to mirror up or line up the requirements at the same time, so it's not a multi-step process.
So Kyle, who polices that? The permitting, making sure they have these permits for this, that, and the other?
Yeah, the permit's issued by the planning department. If there are issues with compliance, then our code enforcement would investigate that, or be a collaboration of 2 of us. If there's something going on, perhaps in the street, somebody parked in the street, then I think the police department would be involved in that. But
you also have Net Health, the food
Right.
inspection services, maybe stopping by to just ask to see the permits
Yeah.
as well. That could be something that an enforcement agency that could.
Gotcha.
right, yeah, Net Health would be on the health side of it. We're mostly on the zoning and the some of the other city specific rules that we have. This next one is a clarification item. Not going to get too far into it, but essentially our code currently references an older edition of our the ITE manual as it pertains to infrastructure, calculating for what's required of new development. This would just remove that specific reference and say the latest edition of that. So we're always working with the latest information. This next item, I'm not going to go too far into it because this time I think we're going to need some more time to discuss some of the ramifications of this and some of the legal aspects of what we're trying to achieve here. So, but just kind of overview here is that the city regulates billboards in our ETJ, our 5-mile ETJ, which is our extraterritorial jurisdiction. So, and that's through an agreement with TxDOT to do so. And in doing so, we extend our billboard regulations into the ETJ. There's been some changes to state law in regards to property owners being able to remove themselves or their properties from the ETJ. and there's some discussion on how that affects our billboard regulations. And so I'd like to hold off on this so we can come back with maybe some more language on how we proceed with that. And so just finally, that law was largely intended in our understanding was to remove the ability for cities to regulate billboards in the ETJ or to extend their rules. And so what happens is you create a situation where property owners they leave the ETJ for that reason. And so we're trying to figure out if there's a way to make all parties happy and proceed with that. And so, but we'd like to bring that back to another meeting. And the other items were all reviewed by our UDC review committee. Also, the Developers Roundtable reviewed those, and the Main Street Board also heard the items related to the downtown area. All agreements were in general all groups were in general agreement with the changes, and the Planning Commission by a 6-0 vote recommended approval.
Any questions for Kyle?
I do. So, Kyle, on the D-back parking,
Yeah.
how is that parking policy working in those cities? I mean, well, I guess. Not requiring
Yeah.
for the residential, not requiring off-street parking.
Yeah, I think what you still see, I don't have any, I haven't had any discussions with any counterparts, but what you still tend to see is that the developers and the market will still provide, what they feel is necessary. They don't want to develop something that, they can't find tenants, and they want to preserve their development.
That's what I want to get to. I guess the concept is, if I'm a developer and D-back and it's residential, and I'm not required to provide any parking, I'm going to provide parking because people will eventually say, well, I'm not living there because I can't ever find a place to park.
Right. Yeah, that's still human nature, especially in cities that are not as dense like Tyler, that you're still going to have tenants and customers that still want to have that. And even downtown, you still have commercial businesses that have some off-street parking because they feel it's something that adds to their business, but that's something we haven't required for over 10 years or so.
We haven't required for residential?
Oh, for commercial. And we do have, obviously we do have the parking garage, the city one, the new Smith County parking garage as well. And so those can factor into that some of the changes that we've seen downtown.
On the food truck, going from $150 to $300, is that what other cities, are they charging $300?
Yeah, that's in line with the other cities, but that's just that's what they would pay. That's what somebody would pay anyways right now to operate in one location. They would get 2 permits for $150 each.
Right.
And so that's not really a change. Maybe it's a change to how you can spread it out. Spread out your permit fee, but we're not proposing to reduce that. But yeah, that's what we've seen other places.
So, Kyle, we hear a lot from our constituents, a lot of rumors, and there's usually a kernel of truth in this. So when you speak of golf, driving ranges, nets, is that the basis for the rumor that on the top of the new Bass Pro Shop there's going to be a Topgolf?
No, sir.
Okay.
That was
Because it sounds like we were teeing that up.
That was nice. That was not the group that approached us. No, it was Camp V that would like to have that over at their facilities.
Okay.
Any other questions? Let's move along. Any other questions for Kyle?
Sorry.
I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by McKellar, second by Curtis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Z2.
All right. This is a zone change request from R1A single family to C1 light commercial on Frankston Highway. As you can see here, it's actually, this portion of the property it has frontage on Old Noonday Road. They are asking for this to allow for light commercial uses. It's really an extension of their current activity to the northwest, that pink area of the C1. Generally, all the properties are zoned for single family, but are currently undeveloped. The request is consistent with our land use plan as shown as mixed use center. The planning commission by a 6-0 vote recommended approval.
Any questions for Kyle?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by McKellar, is it second by Curtis? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Z3.
This is a request for a planned multifamily site plan amendment on Crow Road. The applicant's requesting the ability to modify their site plan, which actually reduces the number of units, which I'll get to in a second here. As you can see, this is on Oak Hill Boulevard and Crow Road. It was rezoned last year to allow for the planned multifamily, which is essentially multiple single-family or duplex buildings on one lot, so it's not a traditional apartment complex. The surrounding properties are undeveloped except for some properties outside the city on the north side. As you can see this was the site plan that was approved, that's currently approved. There's a lot on there. This is 310 units on this property. It's about just over 10.5 units per acre is the density. These are a mixture of single units, double unit buildings. What they're proposing is very similar, but is a reduction down to 250 units. A little bit more space there for amenities and activities for the residents. One other benefit is that the driveway on Crow Road is moved further from the intersection. As you can see, it's closer there, and they move it further to the west, which, from a traffic perspective, is more beneficial, and so we appreciate that. Of all the notices that were sent out, none were returned in favor or in opposition, and the planning commission recommended approval.
Can you go back to the plat?
I believe the applicant is here if you have questions about the site.
But there's like one entrance, there's two entries and exits, right?
There's two.
All right, we do have Gary Stats and Mark Ewing here. If y'all have any questions for the applicants, or do y'all have any questions for Kyle or applicants, or come on up. If you state your name and address for the record.
Good morning. My name is Gary Stats, and I'm a partner with True Life. I must apologize to you in advance. I'm embarrassed. I left my home in Fort Worth about 5:30 this morning, and I failed to put on my hearing aids, so I can't hear a word you're saying. So, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm not hearing it. But I do have Mark Ewing here, who's an engineer with our organization, and he'll be happy to answer any detailed questions that I can't hear. First, tell you that True Life is a strong company based in Fort Worth, but developing this build-to-rent product in multiple locations throughout the state now. But we are a company that's more than just about real estate, more than sticks and bricks. We're really about the amenities and services and the lifestyle of the people who live in our communities. And we're very, very excited about the idea of coming to Tyler. We think our product blends well with the culture here in Tyler, and it will be well received. A variety of living units available for people of all ages. We'll have senior adults, we'll have young marriage, we'll have young families, we'll have a wide variety, but we'll provide services, amenities that really are more about lifestyle and quality of the opportunity to live in a beautiful city like Tyler. So if you have specific questions for us, please feel free. Mark will be happy to answer those for you, but thank you for your consideration.
Mark, are these affordable homes, properties?
Cost of homes, pardon? Affordable homes, cost of homes.
Yes. The multiple floor plans will range on a monthly rent from around $1,600 a month to around $2,400 a month, and those will be 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. Most are single story. We do have some townhome type developments in one portion of the area. But again, compared to the product that was originally approved for this product, which I'm not speaking poorly towards that, but we are a lower density and generally a wider variety of unit types, and that's our price range.
$1,500 for 1 bedroom?
$1,500 for 1 bedroom.
Yes.
So how far down the road were you before you realized you left your hearing aids at home?
How far down the road were you when you realized?
It was too far to go back. I was halfway here. I thought I was having a very pleasant trip, no noise or anything, and then suddenly I realized I didn't have my hearing aids. So,
Mark, would you drive him back?
I'll drive you back.
You need to be able to hear this.
Yeah. I feel for them. I've got brand new hearing aids myself. They're pretty cool. I'll let you borrow them. That's the way we are in Tyler.
thank you very much. When I was 15, I learned sign language, never realizing that at some point I would have to use it. But so if anybody signs, I can talk to you.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant?
Motion to approve Z3.
Second.
Got a motion by Hawkins, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
All right, Z4.
Okay, this is a zone change request from R1A to multifamily, RMF. This is off of Hammer Hill and Danley Avenue over by UT Tyler. This is really an extension of the multifamily development that's being planned for just north of it. It's the same development, and so they're adding this into their project. The surrounding properties, a mixture of single-family homes, multifamily, and some undeveloped property. And this would amend the future land use guide to multifamily, which this map's not updated, but the property to the north is also multifamily. So it's just kind of a continuation of those developments on that side. This is the property as you see here, and so they plan to combine all that and into one development. Of the notices that were sent, none were returned in favor or in opposition to the request, and the Planning Commission recommends approval.
All right, we do have the applicant here. Sam Ivy, if you have questions for the applicant or for Kyle.
Move to approve Z4.
Second.
Got a motion by Curtis, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Z5.
This is a request from C2 General Commercial to M1 Light Industrial. This is on the northwest loop. As you see here, the applicant's requesting the change to put in or install a warehouse facility. This is also an extension. This is of the property that's to the southeast, the M1 that's down there. The applicant has developed that property and is using it for a similar use. And so they're wanting to expand over here. This property was subdivided by the funeral home over there, and I think being sold to the applicant, or has already been sold. This request kind of meets the future land use guide there with a mixture of uses, and you do see a mixture of warehouse and other industrial activity on the northwest loop. And this is a pretty small scale operation on this site. The letters that were sent out to the neighbors, none were returned in favor or in opposition to this request, and the Planning Commission recommends approval.
Any questions for Kyle?
So moved.
Second. Got a motion by McKellar, second by Curtis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. C6.
This is a request on South Spring Avenue from RPO Office District to AR Adaptive Reuse District. The property is currently developed with a home, and the applicant is needing the change to bring the property into conformance with the current UDC to allow the residential use. Currently, it's zoned RPO, which would not allow a home to be rebuilt. I think that area was rezoned to RPO at some point to kind of get ahead of new development in that area. We've had a previous zone change to the south in the past year or so. That was also doing the same thing, and it was recommended that instead of going all the way back to single family zoning, that they can utilize the AR district or adaptive reuse district that would allow the mixture of office and single family use. And so we felt that was more appropriate here instead of rezoning back to single family. The applicant agreed and is seeking that. All the surrounding properties along Spring Street, it's a mixture of offices and single family homes and some duplexes as well. And then to the west is commercial activity. Here's the property here. Of the notices that were sent out, we did receive, I believe it's one, I think it's the same owner, in opposition to the request, just over 6% opposition. I believe that is just concerns about, or maybe not understanding the changes to allow the similar activity, that there's no new proposed activity on the property other than the current home at this point. The Planning Commission recommended approval of this request.
What was the reason for the protest?
I don't have it. I think that they were just
Didn't quite
not sure, concerned about some changes on the property, but the applicant doesn't plan to do that. They just plan to keep doing what they've been doing, which is single family homes.
Is anybody here?
So Kyle, I have a question. So the businesses that are there will not be affected by this, correct?
No, correct.
And
Yeah.
that's what they did not really understand.
I think so. Yeah. There's no change in what's going on now, and so I'm not sure if they were aware of that when they made their protest.
Right.
There's nobody here protesting. Nobody filed.
Yeah. I don't have a card on this item, but I assume there's nobody here in opposition to this that wishes to speak? No? Any other questions for Kyle?
Move to approve Z6.
Second.
Got a motion by Hawkins, second by Curtis. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. C7.
This is a request for a zone change from multifamily to R2 district, which would allow for the development of a duplex on this property. The surrounding zonings are also multifamily. This is in an older area, or more well-developed area of town that had multifamily zoning. But generally, the area is developed with a mixture of duplexes and single-family homes. To the west is industrially zoned, but that's also largely single-family as well. As you can see at the end of the street, or the intersection of Herndon and Hickory, that property was rezoned R2 as well, and I believe has been developed with the duplex. This would be the same thing here. This will help facilitate new residential development within the north end, and so that is in keeping with the Tyler First plan. Of the notices that were sent, none were returned in favor or in opposition, and staff or planning commission recommends approval.
Any questions for Kyle?
I move to approve. Oh,
Second.
okay.
Motion by McKellar, second by Curtis. Any further discussion?
Nichols.
No, Nichols. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. ZA.
This is a request from R1B single family to R2 two family, also to build a duplex on the property. This is on North Grand Avenue, just north of Texas College. And as you can see, the surrounding zonings largely are R2 already, which is what they're asking for. And so this would be in keeping with that. There is a mixture, I believe, of some. I think a lot of those properties are single family homes. But there may be some duplexes there, and so this would allow the applicant to do what their neighbors can do on their property. As you see here, there's some new development in the area. I think this property was rezoned or downzoned to R1 back in, I think, the late 90s when we had the program to do that, but I guess it's changed hands, and that they are looking to do something different with the property, which again would be what their neighbors can currently do. Of the notices that were sent, none were returned in favor or in opposition, and the Planning Commission recommends approval.
Any questions or comments for Kyle?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by McKellar, second by Curtis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. C9.
This is a request from RPO Office District to C1 Light Commercial on East 5th Street. This is kind of similar in a way to the other ones, that they're the only RPO on that stretch there, and they're looking to rezone to C1 to have commercial activity, which is what their neighbors currently enjoy. So they're essentially wanting to match the C1 that surrounds them. And those properties are a mixture of single family, or of retail developments, I believe a church, and then a future school to the northwest. It's consistent with our future land use guide. Of the notices that were sent, none were returned in favor or in opposition. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Questions or comments for Kyle?
Move to approve Z9.
Second.
Motion by Curtis, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Y'all getting bored out there?
What about Kyle?
Okay, keep going, Kyle. Good job.
Stuart and James are.
This is a request for a special use permit for a one-chair beauty salon on North Spring Avenue. This property in the past has had a special use permit to operate the one-chair beauty salon, but it's since lapsed, and so they are reapplying to do it again. And so we're not aware of any issues that may have come up in the previous approvals or when they did it there. And so and we did not receive any letters of opposition or in favor. And with that, the Planning Commission recommends approval of the special use permit for a period of 5 years for the one-chair beauty salon.
Any questions for Kyle?
Is there parking available
Yeah, I believe they have parking at the back of
in the back of
the
the
back
house?
of the property, and that would be reviewed before they can operate.
How long was the permit for the first time? 1 year?
First time would be 1 year. The renewal is usually, well, it's usually 1 to 3 years, and then the renewal is 5 years. And so we're just kind of keeping with that.
Well, it appears the process works.
So this time it's for 5 years?
Right.
All right.
Move to approve Z10.
Second.
Got a motion by Hawkins, second by Curtis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Z11.
This is a cleanup item, like some of the other ones from multifamily to R1B. Surrounding properties are generally single family, and they're seeking to build a single family home on this property. And this would be consistent with the future land use guide. They do own the properties, I believe, to the east and maybe to the west, and they are looking to develop infill homes within the north end, which is in keeping with our comprehensive plan. There was no opposition to this request, and the Planning Commission recommends approval.
Any questions or comments for Kyle?
Move to approve Z11.
Second.
Got a motion by Hawkins, second by Nichols. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Z12.
This is a request for a zone change from R1B, single family residential district, to PMXD1, planned mixed use district. This is on 815 Camp Street, just west of East Gentry Parkway and Camp. And so this is a property here. It's generally single family, developed as single family to the north and west. And then there is some commercial activity to the east that fronts along Gentry Parkway. They are requesting this zone change to allow for the residential use on the property that currently exists, as well as a mechanic shop on the property. So to allow, I believe, the owner to operate a mechanic shop that has customers that come to the property and receive services for their vehicles. Like I mentioned, you can see here the surrounding home properties are generally homes, except for the commercial frontage on East Gentry, which you'd expect to have anyways on a major street like that. Of the notices that we sent out, I believe we received one in favor, and then one in opposition from the owner that owns all the properties there in red, which comes out to 12.66% protest. And their concerns were that this is a residential area, introducing commercial activity, and especially, that scale of commercial activity, which is vehicle repair, can have some detrimental impact on the neighborhood. When we look at the zoning that they've requested, the PMXD1, that does allow for all the uses that they want to do. It's really the only district that would allow for that, and I think that's why they requested that. But when we look at the intent of the PMXD1 district, which was really intended for, mixture of, mixed use development with residential on top, or with retail and restaurants and things like that at major intersections. That was really the intent behind it, not to allow uses that might be incompatible with each other, such as single family and auto repair. Generally, those are not two uses that you want to have very close to each other, for obvious reasons, noise and dust and things like that. And then also not on the same property is generally not really good planning. So So in the review, staff did not recommend approval of the request. The Planning Commission, by a 6-0 vote, denied the request for a zone change. The applicant has appealed the decision of the Planning Commission. I believe they are here to speak. But as it currently stands, the Planning Commission recommended denial.
Kyle, thank you so much for that denial. There's too many mechanic shops that are set up in District 3. So thank you.
All right, we do have a card from Georgina Ramirez. Come on up. You can state your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning. My name is Georgina Ramirez. Address is 815 East Camp Street. We are here to appeal the denial of our zoning change, and we feel it should be approved. We don't want a big mechanic shop. We want a small one, just like a one person working there, 3 to 4 cars max. We understand that the people that complained said that it would be like a traffic issue, dust, everything. We have enough space within our property for the cars to be able to come in and out easily. Dust is really not an issue for us. Like, we will not be making too much noise. We won't have big machinery. We won't have anything that would resemble a normal mechanic shop. We just want a small space, workspace, and that's it. And I do understand that there is a lot of mechanic shops, but that's like also the problem. We don't want anything that's too big, like not 10, 15 cars, not 5 people working there. We just want a one person, small shop, just for like a family business. And I honestly feel we're in a good location since we're by both commercial and also residential properties to have both.
You know, these things are just tough. You know, when you've got someone like you guys that are, you want a mechanic shop, you want to make a living, and I get it. I have commercial behind me where I live, and the people next door to me are residential. And at one point, people next door to me wanted to rezone their property other than residential, which would be commercial right next to my house. And I've got an investment in my house. And so I want to protect the investment in my house, but also don't want the commercial next to my house. Mm-hmm. So it gets beyond the fact that you guys, you want to make a living, a good, honest living, and I get it. But it's getting where it's your neighbors that are opposing it. And I don't think they're not opposing it because of who you are. I mean, they're opposing it because of the concern of what it will do to their neighborhood.
Most of our neighbors, the person that will be working, they appreciate him. We expected a lot more from them, but I guess most of them just saw it littered and didn't think much of it. And honestly, I feel like I understand the part where being residential, you don't want someone there making noise for you. But for us, it's kind of complicated since we live right next to a car wash, little shops, everything. And all around us, there's hairdressers, people selling food, people fixing appliances, nail salons, everything. At the zoning meeting, we heard that our neighbor said because it would cause traffic. And honestly, we've seen more traffic with hairdressers, with the little taco shops, which we all love, but people sell at their house. And for us, like I said, for our neighbors are usually around, they hear, they see, they don't really mind. The person that opposed, we don't really know them, so maybe that's why they opposed, or we don't even know if they're around.
Any questions or comments for the applicant?
Go ahead.
I'd just like to say that we as the council, we've seen these type of encroachments into neighborhoods, which kind of it gets into the integrity of what it was built for, a neighborhood. And we have to draw the line with these things, and we've had it as simple as just somebody wanting to be an accountant. So no real traffic, outdoor activity or anything, and we've voted against it just because it was in the neighborhood, and we want to preserve the integrity of that neighborhood because it was built for families versus commercial. Yeah. So this is, like the mayor was saying, it's nothing against y'all, it's where do we draw the line, and that line just happens to be down Winona Avenue right now.
Yeah, and Our actual property was commercial before, and then we changed it. So
Why'd you do that?
residential to build a house.
Right. Ms., do you have
I was
something
just
to
gonna
say?
ask, did I hear him say earlier that you were already doing mechanic work there?
We had someone working there. The shop, like, it's not actually a shop, it's just a little carport, basically, right now.
Did you have complaints called in during that time?
No, we didn't know about that.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I've already expressed how I feel.
Would you like to put that to a motion?
Yes. I'd like to offer a motion that we continue to deny.
Second. Got a motion by McKellar, a second by Curtis to deny Z12. Any further discussion? All those in favor of denying Z12, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is denied. We wish you the best. Just find you another spot. But we do wish you the best.
I guess I just feel a little discriminated right now, but
Well,
it's all part of it. Thank you.
thank you. Z13.
And this is a zone change from multifamily to R2, two-family, to allow for the applicant to be able to build an accessory dwelling unit on the property, or like a garage apartment on this lot. This is on Noble Street. And the surrounding property, there's a mixture of properties here, commercial, office, multifamily, and then R2 to the south. And so it's going to match the R2, the yellow portion there on the map. There's currently a home on the property, and they are adding an accessory dwelling unit, so the unit will be no more than half the size of the house, and will have to have meet all the requirements for an accessory unit on the property. As you see here, I believe they might be reusing or utilizing the one that they have on there right now. And but again, this is kind of a mixed use area. I believe Abel's is to the north, where they have their trucks. The notices that we sent out, none were returned in favor or in opposition. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Any question for Kyle?
Are you describing this as an add-on?
No, it's going to be an accessory unit, so detached, granny flat or mother-in-law suite that they can rent out to additional tenants.
Don't we have a minimum square footage on those that keeps us out of the range of the tiny home, non-taxable? Don't we have a?
Right. I mean, there are minimums based off the number of people. There's minimums for each bedroom and kitchen or bathroom or things like that. But I believe this is going to exceed the minimums.
So the term, the ADU, accessory dwelling unit, we're just now starting to see this come into our language at P&Z now?
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what we've called garage apartments in the past. That's really the same ideas as an accessory living area that is still, kind of subservient to the main house, because it still has to be less than 50% of the main house. And so the term is being used, the same way as a granny or as a garage apartment and an ADU. So we've had it before, but now we're definitely seeing more of them though.
Right. Because some metropolitan areas are having problems with these now because they're getting stacked in people's backyards and shared bathrooms and stuff like that. But we've got good control on that.
Right. Yeah, they're still limited again in size, limited to one per lot. So you're not going to have 2 or 3 in the backyard of properties, and then they also still have to have their own dedicated off-street parking. So that those are some of the issues that other places have faced.
Any other questions for Kyle?
Move to approve Z13.
Second.
Got a motion by Hawkins, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Good job. Motion carries. Good job, Kyle. Kate, good morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning. Morning.
So, item M1 before you is for the Lake Tyler Master Plan, which would be put together by Half and Associates. So, as you already know, but some background, Tyler Water Utilities owns and operates Lake Tyler and Lake Tyler East, including the dams, both White House and Mud Creek Dam. The lakes are treated as a single reservoir due to the connecting channel between the two lakes. The intake facility at Lake Tyler pumps raw water to our Golden Road Water Treatment Plant, where we treat it and then distribute it out to the distribution system. Lake Tyler is a critical water source for the city of Tyler. At least half of the city's supply comes from Lake Tyler. We have permitted water rights in Lake Tyler and Lake Tyler East for about 40,000 acre feet per year, which is 36 million gallons a day. So the current master plan that we've been operating under was adopted in April 2011 and is in need of an update. The updated master plan will revisit recommendations made in the current operating master plan and will make edits and or additions to that master plan to meet the current and future needs of the city at Lake Tyler and Lake Tyler East. Planning and development, recreation, water quality are among focused areas of the proposed master plan. Public safety, expenditure cost recovery, development of a CIP for Lake Tyler, also grant funding opportunities will be included in this master plan. So HAF's main objective with this master plan will be to provide the city a viable set of recommendations to guide decision making with regard to development opportunities and establish policies for their implementation. The schedule for the master plan, they are ready to just hit the ground running starting in August of 2024, so next month. There will be a public engagement plan where we'll hold 2 public meetings, 2 stakeholder meetings, and some intercept surveys. Analysis will include an environmental assessment, water resource assessment, and shoreline condition assessment. We then plan to present the master plan to the council in a year's time in August of 2025. So I'm here to request that the City Council consider authorizing the City Manager to execute a professional services contract in the amount of $449,275 with Half Associates for the development of the Lake Tyler Master Plan.
So when you have your public meetings, where will those be located?
We haven't determined where we'll have those yet, because that's still, in the preliminary stages. But those public meetings and the stakeholder meetings, we'll make sure for stakeholders, we're talking City of Tyler people, people that live out on the lake, the concessionaires that are out on the lake, include every single party that is really a stakeholder in Lake Tyler and Lake Tyler East.
The mayor has expressed interest in chairing those meetings.
Oh, has he?
Lake Tyler.
Councilman Nichols, he says that in jest.
Mm-hmm.
This is needed, and for a number of reasons. And I'm not going to go off on a tangent here, maybe a little. What people don't realize is that the people that live on Lake Tyler do not live in the city of Tyler. And the people that live at Lake Tyler do not pay property tax to the city of Tyler. And a lot of times, the people at Lake Tyler are great. They're friends of mine, they're good folks. But sometimes they demand services out there, and we have to remind them that you're not a taxpayer to the city. And recently when we had the debris pickup, and the people at the lake, when are we going to get our debris picked up? Well, the taxpayers, the city of Tyler, come first. And so I think it's important as we go forward for everybody just to really understand the rules of the game. And there's things that I don't get. And one is simply is, if the lake is not in the city limits, why does the city actually pay to keep the roads up? You know, and we've done it forever. But sometimes I wonder why. And so as we go forward and we do this master plan, it'll help us define who's responsible for what we can do to improve the lives of the citizens out there. However, at the same time, making them realize that maybe, well, I'm not going to go there. I'm stopping. But I think it's a good thing that we do to going forward, so everybody just knows the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate that, sir. That is kind of the reason for doing the master plan. We've looked at different master plans for Lake Tyler before, but Lake Tyler for the city of Tyler has three primary functions. Three functions. The primary one being a water source for our citizens and our Tyler water utility customers. The second is the recreational use that we have out at Lake Tyler and used for tourism purposes and for people here locally. And then the third has been kind of what started off as little fishing camps, but has become kind of larger homes and the like that, like you said, they do not live inside the city limits, but they are, as far as tenants of the city of Tyler, with the leases out there. And so kind of work those three different functions of trying to figure out making sure that those are utilized and that Tyler water utility customers, first and foremost, have priority and of utilization on that lake and that it is safeguarded for our future generations.
Any other comments or questions for Kate?
Move to approve M1.
Second.
Got a motion by Curtis, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. M2.
All right, M2 is for the Greenbrier Force Main slip lining, engineering agreement with KSA. So the Greenbrier lift station is located on Spur 164, which is Greenbrier Road, just north of Lindsay Park. The drainage basin for this lift station is over 4,400 acres. There are 9 other lift stations that pump to Greenbrier. The force main is over 10,000 linear feet, which is almost 2 miles of force main. The Greenbrier lift station was built in the 70s, and the pipe material that was chosen for the force main, which was very popular back then, is an asbestos cement pipe material. At this time, I've touched it with my own hands. It's very brittle. The lifespan of that force main is pretty well gone. And it has inconsistent inner and outer diameters just because of what it's made out of, because it is so brittle. So as far as history of this force main, over the past decade, we've averaged about 1 to 2 breaks in the force main each year. But to give you an idea of what's required when this force main does break, it can take up to 24 hours of a crew's time to repair, and potentially up to $60,000 of funds to make that repair, either with an emergency contractor or with our own staff. We have to turn off the lift station. We have to pump out the wet well. We can't shut this lift station down. It has to be operable at all times. So we have to be able to convey that sewer somehow. And so a lot of times when this happens, it's like, we got to get going. So unfortunately, though, we've seen a pretty large increase in leak frequency. So since February, we've had 4 breaks in this force main. So it's kind of, we got to do something. We absolutely have to do something. We can't wait any longer. So we needed some sort of permanent solution that would get us down the road. So we consulted with industry experts on what would be the best way to repair this. We looked at CIPP, which we've done on our larger sewer mains, but the one thing that we've decided upon was fusible PVC, and that was what was recommended by those industry professionals. What it would do is it would utilize that existing asbestos cement pipe as its host pipe, and then what you do is you would push that PVC, that fusible PVC, through the host pipe. So we're able to keep, we will still have some shutdowns along the way, but it'll be a lot less than, say, if we had to use CIPP, because you can use much longer pools of fusible PVC. So you can do 2,000 to 3,000, potentially even more feet of fusible PVC at one time, as opposed to like CIPP, which is about, 500 to 600 feet that we would have to do. The design phase for this project is 2 months long. Construction phase is 6 months, so we're really hitting the ground on this one. The opinion of probable construction cost is $5.5 million. The benefits of this include that this is an 18-inch diameter force main. Like I said, significant longer pulls of pipe, which helps us with bypass pumping and the need to shut down the lift station. And then also the pipe wall thickness. If we were to use like HDPE as that pipe instead of the fusible PVC, we would lose a lot more of that capacity in the pipe, because HDPE is much thicker pipe than the PVC is. They've done it in San Antonio, and it's recommended as probably the best thing that we can do moving forward, which, you know, I spoke last council meeting about the bypass pump we were putting in at Greenbrier Force Main, which is going to help us with our capacity at that lift station. In doing this force main, this pushes that $20 to $30 million rehab job, which we don't have the funds available for right now, down like 20 years. So this way, we spend $5.5 million now. That pushes that investment back to when we will actually need the capacity that's required with that rehab. So this is a very great option. It is a permanent but very much needed solution as soon as possible. So I'm here to request that the City Council authorize the City Manager to execute an engineering services agreement in the amount of $634,700 with KSA Engineers for the Greenbrier Force Main slip lining project, and adopt a resolution reserving the right to reimburse expenditures of proceeds with future debt.
Any questions for Kate?
Yeah, so sounds like a good idea to meet I guess there's not a lot of concern about capacity going from 18 to 16, that is still, we got.
Yeah, no,
for a long
right now we're good with capacity. And really when we do need, it'll probably be more like, because Bellwood's a big contributor, Bellwood Lift Station's a big contributor. We're putting gravity line in there.
Right.
As soon as that Bellwood area builds out, which will probably take about 15 to 20 years, that's when we will really seriously need capacity, not just at the Greenbrier Lift Station, but also downstream in the gravity mains that Greenbrier pumps into. So we're not getting too far ahead of ourselves if we make this like interim repair, which is needed.
And does that PVC line require the concrete asbestos around it, or?
No, which is
an area
good.
where it goes away, the PVC's fine.
In some areas of this, I mean, we fully expect that AC pipe will just crumble. And so it's sort of like a pipe bursting, you could almost say.
I heard that the repairs on them are very difficult.
Very difficult, yeah.
All right, any other questions?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by McKellar, second by Curtis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Kate. Larry, come on down.
Good morning, Mayor and City Council members.
Morning.
My name is Larry Everett. I'm with the Community Development Department of Neighborhood Services, and I'm here to request your approval for a final public hearing and approval of the 5-year consolidated plan in conjunction with the 1-year annual plan. And you know, as we have researched this process, we identified the 3 priority needs that we look at going forward for the next 5 years. And as you see on the screen, non-housing community development, decent and affordable housing, and addressing the homelessness. And by doing this, in terms of establishing a consolidated plan, we looked at some of the things that we would have to do in order to help the citizens of the community, and also do things that from the neighborhood services standpoint, where we are being very productive with city elements there. And this is very significant for us because the current annual 5-year plan is going to expire at the end of this fiscal year as we go into September. And then what we need to do is come in with another 5-year plan in terms of doing things that we're going to do within that per year status. And with things that are changing so much in our country in terms of things that are happening across the board, our demand and also our requests have been different. And so we realized that we're going to have to change some ways in terms of how we do things and how we go about creating the things that we have for the citizens. And as you see there, we've already conducted some of the public hearings that we have, 3 public meetings, 1 public hearing, and then of course we're hoping to have the second public hearing today. And one of the major things that we come about is we created a survey sent out to the citizens to try to find out their input in terms of some of the things that we should do and we should help for the community. And we received about 212 responses, which was very good. And we found out some of the things that the citizens wanted, some of the things the citizens need, and things that we need to adjust to be able to go forward within this 5-year consolidated plan. As we went forward, we looked at, we have to establish the goals of what we're going to look at. And as you see there, we're looking at those 5 goals that are going to be key in terms of what we do. It's going to be the first-time home buyer, the repair and ADA accessibilities, public facilities, do construction and reconstruction, and then reducing homelessness. Now, a lot of things can fall under these categories, and so by doing that, we looked at the goals in terms of what we wanted to do. And in this first year part of it, which we're going to start in October, we look at our annual action plan as these items in terms of what we're going to plan, what we're planning to do, which is going to be critical home repair, ADA projects, which deals with repair and ramps, first-time home buyer, public facilities, new construction, temporary shelter, Chodo Reserve, and the Chodo Reserve is a requirement by HUD, so that's something we could not avoid, and then property acquisition, and then of course administration. And what we're looking at this point, we're expecting to receive grant funding for this upcoming year, 24-25, and 2 grants that we administer in the community development is going to be CDBG and home grants. And as you see right there, in terms of $755,000 for CDBG grant and home $304,153.31, which gives us a total of a little over $1 million that we'll be operating with for this year from the HUD funds that they're going to allocate to us at the beginning of the year. Now, one thing we have, and I have a chart here that shows how we would break down that funding. Now, I'm not going to go into detail to go into every little point of it from that standpoint. But as you see down the columns, you'll see what we're looking at doing and how much money we're going to spend in each category. And we're hoping that once we do these, we can be successful in this first year. And then as we carry on for the next 4 years following this year, we hope that we can make some major accomplishments in some of the communities. Our recommendation at this point, we request that City Council hold a final public hearing on the CDBG and home grant 5-year consolidated plan and annual action plan. And following that, approve the 5-year consolidated plan, its attachments, the annual action plan, and the related budget. So it's kind of a 2-tier approach, and we're hoping that we can get approval from that so we can submit our consolidated plan to HUD by April 15th. Any questions?
Any questions for Larry?
Could you go back to the 3rd slide, Mr. Everett?
Okay.
Not that one.
Okay. Right there?
No, continue on.
Okay.
The next one,
Oh, the next one. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think, is that the one you wanted, Councilman? Or-
Yes, I have that one, but I think the next one as well.
And then, the next one?
Yes.
Oh, budget.
Oh, stop.
The activities.
The one with the total amount.
Other direction.
Hit it again.
I'm sorry,
That's okay. Good.
with the total.
Kyle, can you bring up, it was the one with the graph of the activity?
There it is right there. I can get it right there.
Oh, that.
I got that one.
Oh, you got that one?
I got
Just
that
above.
one. I
Two
just,
up.
yeah, the one was
Just
above it.
above, right there.
The projects.
I already got it anyways. I got it at the bottom.
Oh, the project itself, I'm sorry, okay.
No, that's okay, no worries, I have it. Thank you.
So,
I got it.
so the project that's behind fire station number 1. What was it
Yeah,
called?
that's one of the projects that we have existing that's currently going right now. We're looking at new projects that we're moving forward with from that standpoint.
Right.
Now,
What about the success of that?
Oh, the
Is it
success-
Built out, or are they all sold, or?
yeah, they're very successful. We're it's 2 phases of it, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1, we have sold all the homes. There's 7 homes in there. We sold them all, got tenants in from the standpoint. We have phase 2 going up right now, 4 houses in phase 2 part of it. They're just about finished. We're looking at maybe another month we'll be completed with that. And we already have a waiting list of people for those homes also too. So they'll be sold once we hit the market from that standpoint. And then as we go forward, we're looking at acquiring properties to start another division, and so we can keep going from the standpoint. The beauty of it is HUD allows us the money that we sell the homes for, we revert it back to us. That keeps us continuing. We can continue to build affordable housing at that point. So that's the significance in terms of building. We can sell them, and then we can keep moving in that direction.
Great. Any other questions for Larry?
You have any idea where you're gonna go with the next phase, property-wise?
Well, we're looking at some various properties right now in terms of what we can receive. We just don't have a solid force in terms of what it's going to cost us to purchase those lots.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We do need to open a public hearing.
Okay. So, all right. This is weird. Okay, we're gonna recess from city council. We're gonna go to a public hearing.
You don't need to recess.
No, right
Yeah,
here.
that's an old Martin Hines thing. We never.
I didn't do the gavel.
Yeah, I just do it to call.
You can't do the gavel.
Okay, we're calling a
Yeah.
public hearing. Anybody wish to come speak to this item? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing.
Thank you very much. That's we were looking at the final results of statements from the community for public hearing, so we can move forward.
So,
Not yet.
then we got to vote on the second.
Yes.
Can you go down to where we're voting on?
Move the slide down, Larry, or come to the last slide, I guess. Is that what you want there?
Yes.
Yeah,
One more.
that-
One more.
One more.
One more.
Keep going.
There we go. So I need a motion to approve the 5-year consolidation plan.
Move to approve.
Second?
Got a motion by Nichols, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
Thank
Larry.
you. Thank you.
Kedry.
Morning. Okay, Mayor and Council, you have the next 2 items that are really kind of related to each other. Item M4 and M5. M4, the one that we're currently speaking on, is for grant writing and grant management of the recent windstorms that we had back in June. And item M5 is for debris removal. But item M4 is a request the City Council consider authorizing the city manager to award a request for proposal for grant writing and administrative services for the DR-4781-TX Texas Severe Storm, Straight Line Winds, Tornadoes, and Flooding to Trailer and Associates Incorporated. Trailer and Associates is a company that's actually local to the city of Tyler, and they manage these types of events, FEMA events, also CDBG and other type of grants. So they have a wealth of experience in working with the federal government in order to help us to achieve the reimbursements that we desire. So we put out a notice to bidders in the paper on June the 26th and July the 3rd. And those proposals were sent, also proposals were sent to 3 known vendors we only had one response, and that was Gary Trailer and Associates. Those bids were open on July the 9th. And so the initial term for the actual contract, we're looking at starting August the 1st, 2024, and ending on September 30th, 2025. But also, we've built into this an option to renew up to 3 one-year periods. Also in this agreement, the maximum that the city will pay is about 4%. It could be up to 9%, but the additional 5% is actually reimbursable. So we do have Mr. Mark Taylor here with Gary Trailer and Associates if you have any questions. But having said that, our recommendation is that City Council authorize the city manager to award the RFP for grant writing and administrative services for the DR 4781-TX, Texas severe storm, straight line winds, tornadoes, and flooding to Trailer and Associates Incorporated.
Any questions for Kedrick?
I got one. So I think you touched on it, Kedrick. I think how does the city pay? How do we pay for this? I saw a contract term, but no money. How?
Yeah, it's a percentage based on what we're reimbursed.
It's a percentage of the grant.
It's a percentage of the grant. The city on the max will be 4%. They can get an additional 5%, but that would be reimbursed by FEMA. So.
And just kind of for M4 and for M5, and Kedrick kind of alluded to it as well. These are, we had the front of the windstorm back at the very beginning of June, and here we are, at the end of July, bringing these contracts to you. One of the things that we have to be very careful about in order to make sure that we are protected on a financial sense for reimbursement from FEMA when these type of natural disasters are declared is that we have to go through all of the hoops and whistles that go along with those processes. And FEMA especially requires bidding processes that match our current bidding process alike, but you just can't, oftentimes, sometimes with professional services, you're able to just go and hire professional services and get them started. For FEMA, in order to have full reimbursement on some of these different things that are coming up, we need to be able to kind of go through those processes. Now, the thing that Kedrick and Sherry, the genius that they bring to the table is they constructed it also, not that only covers the storm that we had in June, but now becomes kind of a recurring contract for us to now to go to in the case of the next disaster, because there is a next one, we just don't know when. So that there is something that these then become, I don't want to say evergreen necessarily, but are in motion for the next one so that we don't have to wait as we are doing now in order to be able to have that full recovery that we need to be able to have for that storm. Does that make sense? So.
I'm still hung up on the part that you just called Kedrick a genius.
We're presenting budget next meeting to y'all. Trust me, Kedrick's a genius.
Y'all did see the facial expressions, right?
Any questions?
Sherry too. I don't think he's got another genius behind him.
Yes,
right.
Definitely.
Any questions for Kedrick or Sherry?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Nichols, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. M5.
All right, M5. This is just for the debris removal. We have a request the City Council consider authorizing the city manager to award the request for proposal for disaster debris removal, reduction, disposal, and other emergency debris related services to Crowder Gulf Disaster Recovery and Debris Management as a primary and Crees Environmental Services as a secondary. So these firms specialize in this debris removal. It's not just limbs and debris. As you see in your schedule, there's all kinds of things that they can remove in a disaster recovery situation. Lord forbid if there's tornado, you've got all kinds of debris. But this, as the city manager mentioned, gets us prepared for the next time that we have an event. Hopefully never, but we'll be prepared. The initial term of this will expire in September of 2025, but we'll have 3 one-year renewable options. And what we'll do is we'll just continue to renew, put this RFP out on the street when it expires. And so anytime we have an event, we'll be ready. Our current staff will be able to get immediate assistance. We'll just have to activate the contract, have them come out and help us. But just for your information, we put a notice out to bidders on June the 26th and July the 3rd. We received and opened proposals on July the 9th. We had 5 bidders. We graded it on a 100-point system. It was based on experience, ability to perform work, cost, safety record, and then there were some other categories. So it was a 100-point scale. Kreider was our had the highest points, and then Crees was the second highest. So one of the things that I'm very thankful that Sherry thought about was, if we have an agreement with Kreider, if there is a natural disaster, it could impact other areas. And if Kreider can't get here, then we have a backup company that we can reach out to in order to make sure that we can serve our citizens. Let's see. We have, just for your information, about 9,000 cubic yards of debris over on the North Loop. Those will be what we're hoping will be reimbursable by FEMA. We haven't gotten the 100% A-OK, you're going to be reimbursed. We should know, I think, later on this week or early next week. Also, just for public information, Solid Waste has 250 to 300 work orders they're working on. Those will not be reimbursable because we're charging for that pickup, because that is off of private property. So, having said that, it is recommended the City Council authorize City Manager to award a request for proposal for disaster debris removal and reduction, disposal, and other emergency debris related services to Crowder Gulf Disaster Recovery and Debris Management as primary and Crees Environmental Service as secondary.
Any questions for Keeter?
Move to approve M5.
Second.
Got a motion by Curtis, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Keeter.
Thank you.
Heather, M6.
Morning, council, mayor.
Morning.
This item is from the Smith County Reinvestment Zone number 1, and the TDC is recommending that the city make an appointment to this TERS Reinvestment Zone to represent the city of Tyler. This reinvestment zone was created last year, and as part of the creation, there has been some amendments. They've updated the number of board members from 7 to 9 just recently, and they haven't gotten to the point in this process where they come to the various taxing entities and ask for our participation, but we are allowed or designated a spot to serve on the board, and that service can happen regardless of whether or not we participate or at what level we participate. So today what the request is to designate a person. TDC has suggested that I serve on the board or someone else that you recommend, and that service would last until December of 2025. And then from there, there would be appointments or reappointments.
And the reason for this is a portion of that TERS, the geographical boundary of that TERS, falls within the city limits.
That is correct.
Yeah.
In fact, just to kind of even for further clarification on that, the city annexed this property about, I want to say maybe about 5 years ago, 5 to 6 years ago. It is, so if you think about where UT Health Northeast is, it is the property, it is the city limits that is then to the, I guess really kind of the northwest of that property.
Feel like you can handle it?
I think so.
Well, this was kind of confusing because it looked like it said to consider a city council member. That's why we were a little confused.
Okay.
Because it says, request that city council consider appointing a member, but that means a member of the city of Tyler?
Yes, a member
City
does.
of the staff of Tyler?
It could be a city council person. It could just be anybody that you designate to serve to represent the city of Tyler's interest.
Well, we know you'll do a great job.
Thank you.
So I
Or
offer a
we could
motion.
appoint or move to approve a council member that's not present.
Ooh. Dirty
But
pool.
I think you do a better job, Heather.
Yeah, let's just stay where we are.
I offer a
Councilman Keller,
motion
make
that
a
we consider Ms. Heather to serve in that position.
I'd second that.
All right, got a motion by McKellar, second by Curtis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Wish you well working with Mr. Martinez and Felicia. I know it'll be a great experience. All right, we're down to the consent agenda. Do we need to approve as presented?
Move to approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
Got a motion by Curtis, second by McKellar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And now we've all been waiting for the city manager's report.
Yes, I'll try to make it quick as possible. Yeah, it's somehow skirted for all the time I worked in Houston. I never had a hurricane while I was there, and so the one that actually comes through here, I'm out on. My record stands. But for the good stuff, the first part is HDR, who is actually represented with us today, held their first workshop for the taste and odor study for the Lake Palestine water treatment plant. You may remember this is actually one of our budget priorities that we had for this fiscal year. During this workshop, HDR and city staff determined measurable water quality goals for the Lake Palestine water treatment plant. HDR will begin reviewing this data and determining cost-effective treatment methods for the pilot study to achieve the set water quality goals. This benchmark data review is expected to be completed by the end of this month, and a pilot test study is expected to be developed by the end of August. So this is actually moving along quite quickly, and we're very pleased with this. One of the things I want to kind of a brag point is about our Tyler Fire Department and their work with the South Tyler Rotary Club. They went into northern parts of Tyler and did kind of a knocking on doors and asking if they could check smoke alarms and if there was any need to either replace batteries or put in entirely new alarms for free. They did that. And so we're very happy with our Tyler Fire Department for going and taking this preemptive step. Working fire alarms are always kind of just the first stage of making sure that our safety of our citizens in their homes and businesses. And then finally, wanted to kind of make a note that next Thursday, not tomorrow, but next Thursday will be the annual School is Cool over at the Brookshire Conference Center. We always had such a great time with this one to be able to help our children here locally get ready for an engaging year ahead of them in our school systems. And so that one will be that afternoon on Thursday, August 1st. And so I know the council enjoys and people love working with the council as they come through to get to work on getting the backpacks and all the other stuff, getting ready for school. And so with Councilman Hawkins, we'll make sure we don't stick her out there where just
gotta be us out
Councilman
there.
Curtis will stick him out in the sun and Nichols maybe where the hot and sweaty, you'll get the inside job. And so but it is a great opportunity and we're looking forward to it.
All right, any comments or questions for the
Yes,
city manager?
City Manager, I'm sorry that I won't be able to be there,
Oh.
but because I will be attending the funeral services of the late Sheila Jackson Lee.
Oh.
That will be next Thursday.
We'll have a
Otherwise,
cardboard
I will
cutout to be able to
definitely-
take
But I
pictures.
know that my cohort will take
I'll
my
actually
place.
Step
be in
up.
New Orleans for a real estate convention. I won't be there.
Yeah.
I'm
So
going
you
to
gentlemen-
summer camp with the 10-year-olds from our church at Lake Livingston. I'd rather be there.
Councilman Curtis. That's right.
So what I need-
Guess who gets recruited?
Hopefully Stuart and James will be there.
I'll be there. All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. We are adjourned.